Over almost 20 years, I've helped hundreds of South African families walk into retirement. And I've sat across the table from people who have 50 million rand in the bank who are absolutely terrified. And I've sat with people who had only 5 million rand who were completely at peace. Do this work long enough and the same patterns start repeating themselves. The same mistakes, the same questions, and the same fears. And strangely enough, many of these questions never get answered straight. So today, Hugo and I are going to answer 5 of these questions very clearly.
Whether you have 5 million or 50 million, stick with us because in the next few minutes you'll understand things most people only discover after it's too late.
Before we jump in, a quick ask. We have a dream at Family Wealth Custodians to positively impact more than 1 million South Africans through quality, retirement-focused content like this. And you can help us reach much more people by subscribing to the Family Wealth channel. It costs you nothing, but it helps us reach families who need better guidance before making some of the biggest financial decisions of their lives and avoiding some of the biggest mistakes they could ever imagine. So hit that subscribe button and let's start.
The first truth is this: almost every retirement calculator is built on an assumption that simply isn't true. And that one bad assumption can either keep you working years longer than you need to or make you feel guilty about spending your own money once you finally stop. Here's what most calculators do. They take what you spend in a year, add inflation, and then run that same number in a straight line for 30 years. It climbs higher and higher every year until the age of 90 or 95. But that's not how retirement normally works. Real retirement spending usually follows a curve. At Family Wealth Custodians, we often call this the spending smile. In your early 60s, you are normally still active. You travel, visit family, help children or grandchildren, and do many of the things you delayed during your working years. So spending can be higher. Then, in your 70s, life usually starts to slow down a little. You may still live well, but the pace becomes calmer. And by your 80s, your world often becomes smaller and gentler. Not always, but often. Many people naturally spend less because they simply do less. The calculator does not understand this. It assumes you will spend at 85 the same way you spend at 65, only with more inflation added. And because of that, it can tell you that you need far more capital than you really do. That's why a proper retirement plan cannot simply be a straight line projection. It must reflect real life. More income in the early, healthier years, a steady lifestyle in the middle years, and then a more realistic spending pattern later on. When you plan this way, 2 things often happen. Some people who thought they could not retire discover that they can. And some people who were too scared to enjoy their own money realize they have been holding back unnecessarily. Let me give you an example. Take a man, we'll call him John. John was 62 years old with about 9 million put away. Every online calculator told him he needed around 12 million before he could retire. So he was preparing himself to work another 3 years. But when his plan was modeled properly using a real spending curve instead of a flat line to the age of 95, the picture changed. He was already there. He did not need 12 million. He needed roughly what he already had. So he looked at me and said, "So I was about to work 3 more years for nothing?" And the answer was, not for nothing, but for a calculator that did not understand your life. That's the danger. Once you accept that spending is not flat, everything shifts. How much you need shifts. When you can retire shifts. And how much freedom you feel can shift as well. But this is only the first part, because once you know you can retire, the next question is, how do you turn your money into income?
The second truth is this. There is one structural decision at retirement that can add or quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of rands. It is how and when you turn your retirement capital into income. In South Africa, when you retire from a pension fund, a provident fund, a preservation fund, or a retirement annuity, you usually face an important choice with the compulsory portion. You can use a living annuity where you control the investments and draw an income within an allowed range. Or you can use a guaranteed life annuity where an insurer pays you a guaranteed income for life. Both can be good tools, but the danger is that many people do not use those or choose the right tool strategically. They drift into one or the other by default. They take what the broker mentioned first. They copy what a colleague did, or they choose the option that feels the most comfortable on that specific day. But this single decision can shape your income security for the rest of your life. If you lean too heavily on a living annuity and draw too much too early, you can damage the capital in your 70s, exactly when you have the least ability to earn it back. And the drawdown range itself is a warning. If you ever reach the point where you need to draw close to the maximum just to cover your basic expenses, the plan is already under serious pressure. So the principle I want you to remember is this: bridge the gap. If you can cover some of your early retirement income from a more flexible savings or investments, such as a discretionary investment, cash reserves, or a tax-free savings account, you may be able to let part of your retirement capital keep compounding for longer. That gives your money room to breathe. The real question is not simply, should I use a living annuity or a guaranteed annuity? The better question is, how do I structure my income so that the early years do not cannibalize the later years? For couples, there's another layer. Whose income starts first? How is the surviving spouse protected? What income is actually guaranteed? What remains flexible? And what happens if one partner lives much longer than expected? I worked with a couple last year. Both were about 64, with around 10 million rand between them. Their instinct was to draw quite hard from a living annuity from day one. When we modeled it, the plan worked, but it was tight. There was very little margin if markets performed badly in early retirement. Then we changed the structure. We covered the first few years largely from their discretionary and tax-free savings. We secured a guaranteed income base for the essentials, and we allowed the rest of the portfolio to keep working. Same capital, same lifestyle, different structure. That one change moved the plan from tight and nervous to comfortable and confident. That is how a powerful income structure can be. But here's what many people miss. Every rand of annuity income, every bit of interest, every rental payment, and every capital gains eventually lands somewhere in your tax picture. And if you're not watching how these pieces fit together, you may be paying SARS far more than you need to.
The third truth is about tax. Many people assume that when they retire, their tax bill simply falls away. But that's not always true. For many retirees, tax remains high. In some cases, it can even increase. But the system does give retirees certain advantages if they are set up to use them properly. From age 65, your tax threshold increases. For the 2026-27 tax year, you pay no income tax until your taxable income passes 153,250 Rand. From age 75, that threshold increases to 171,300 Rand. Your interest exemption also increases. Once you are 65 or older, 34,500 Rand of local interest is tax-free each year. If you are under 65, the exemption is 23,800 Rand. Then there are medical tax credits and additional medical expense credit for people over 65. And then there is one of the most powerful tools in retirement planning, the tax-free savings account. Every rand of growth, interest, and withdrawal inside the tax-free savings account is completely tax-free for life. It does not even use your interest exemption. If you are still contributing 46,000 Rand per year until you reach the 500,000 Rand lifetime limit, it can become an incredibly useful retirement tool. But the power is not only having these tools. The power is knowing how to draw from them in the right order. One of the most important ideas in retirement tax planning is the difference between your marginal tax rate and your average tax rate. While you are working, you may be in a higher marginal tax bracket. You may pay 36, 39, or even 41% on your top rand of income. But that doesn't mean you pay that rate on everything. For example, a base of annuity income that sits within your rebates and thresholds, top-ups from your tax-free savings account at zero tax, discretionary investments where gains are realized carefully, and where appropriate, certain tax wrappers for higher income retirees. A tax wrapper, such as an endowment or a sinking fund, can sometimes help higher rate taxpayers because the tax inside the wrapper is capped. For some retirees, this can reduce the overall tax drag over time. The mistake many people make is that they draw from wherever is the easiest. They pull income from the account with the most money, or from the account that is administratively the simplest, or from the investment they think of as their retirement money. But the easiest account isn't always the smartest account. I'll use a simple example. A retiree, we'll call him Dave, had around 13 million spread across a living annuity, unit trust, and tax-free savings accounts. He was drawing almost everything from the living annuity because that was where the most of his money was. But that pushed too much taxable income into one place and lifted his tax rate. So the structure was changed. A measured draw from the living annuity, tax-free top-ups from the TFSA, and carefully withdrawing from discretionary investments. Dave did not spend less, he did not reduce his lifestyle, he simply drew from different sources in a smarter order. And his tax bill fell by tens of thousands of rands in 1 year. That is the point. Tax planning in retirement is not about avoiding tax illegally or doing something clever for the sake of it. It's about arranging your income properly so that you do not pay more tax than necessary. And this links directly to the fourth truth. Because the order you draw from does not only affect tax, it can also determine how long your money lasts.
The fourth truth is this: where you draw your income from matters just as much as how much you draw. And I see people get this wrong all the time. In practice, I often see two types of retirees sitting at opposite ends. On the one side, you have the very conservative retiree, everything sitting in cash or money market or cautious income funds because it feels safe. On the other side, you have the all-growth retiree. Almost everything is sitting in equities or growth assets because that's where the long-term growth is, according to them. Both approaches feel logical and both carry risk. For the conservative retiree, the risk is slow but powerful. Cash feels safe because the value does not jump around every day. But over retirement that may last 25 to 30 years, inflation quietly eats away at what that money can buy. If you are also drawing income from it, capital that never grows simply shrinks. Eventually, the money may still be there on paper, but it buys far less and less every single year. The all-equity retiree, on the other hand, faces the opposite problem. That problem is called sequence of returns risk. When markets are rising, an equity-heavy retirement portfolio can look excellent. But if a serious drawdown happens early in retirement and you are forced to sell investments while the markets are down to fund your monthly income, that damage can become permanent. You sell more units at a lower price. And even when markets recover, your portfolio may not fully recover because you sold too much at the wrong time. This is where the order matters. You do not want to be forced to sell growth assets during a bad market simply because your income has to be paid this month. At Family Wealth Custodians, this is why we use a bucket strategy. Bucket 1 is simple. It's the short-term bucket. It holds cash, near cash investments to cover income for the period ahead. The purpose of this bucket is simple. When markets fall, you are not forced to sell long-term growth assets at the wrong time. Bucket 2, on the other hand, is the middle bucket. This is normally a more balanced layer that can help refill bucket 1 over time. And then finally, bucket 3 is the long-term growth bucket. This is where you keep the growth assets working for the later years of retirement. The point is not to choose between safety and growth. You need both, but they must each do the right job. Cash gives you stability, balanced assets gives you flexibility, and growth assets protects you against inflation over the long term. On top of that, we use guardrails. That means the income plan is not fixed blindly forever. If markets are strong, there may be more room to increase income carefully. If markets are weak, the plan may need to tighten slightly to protect the long-term outcome. The important thing is that these decisions are made according to a clear plan, not emotion. Because in retirement, emotion can be expensive. If you panic in a downturn and sell growth assets at the wrong time, the damage can last for decades. If you sit too conservatively for too long, inflation can do just as much damage, only more quietly. This is why withdrawal order matters. The right income structure protects you from bad timing, bad markets, and bad emotional decisions. And once you understand that, you can start looking at retirement differently. Because retirement is not only about making the money last, it's also about making sure you do not waste the healthy years that you still have.
The fifth truth may be the most important one too. The biggest risk in retirement is not always running out of money. Sometimes the biggest risk is running out of time. That sounds strange in a financial planning video, but it may be the most human part of retirement planning. Many people keep delaying retirement. They wait for the markets to come down. They wait to earn just a little more. They wait until they feel completely ready. They wait for perfect certainty. But perfect certainty almost never comes. And sometimes while people are waiting, life changes.
Health changes. A spouse becomes ill. Family circumstances change. Energy levels change. And the window they were saving for becomes smaller. The painful part is that some of these people had enough money. They had the means. They had the plan. They had the opportunity. But fear kept them stuck. This is one of the quiet tragedies of retirement. People spend their whole life saving for freedom. But when freedom finally arrives, they are too afraid to use it. The purpose of money is not only to preserve itself. The purpose of money is to support the life you actually want to live. That doesn't mean you're being reckless. You still need to stress test the plan. You need to allow for market crashes. You need to allow for medical costs. You need to allow for living longer than expected. You need to build in margin. But once the plan has been tested, you have to be willing to live. Because the default for many people is to freeze. One more year, then another year, then another year. And before they know it, 5 good years have passed and nothing changed. There's a line I love. When you start walking the path appears. You do not find clarity by waiting forever. You find it by moving forward with a proper plan. A few years ago, I worked with a man I'll call Kobus. Every time we met, Kobus had a new worry. What if the market crashes? What if medical costs run away? What if I live past the age of 95? What if something goes wrong? The plan had been tested. The numbers worked out. The major risks had been considered, but he still could not make that decision. Eventually, I asked him a simple question. What are you actually waiting for? And Kobus did not really have an answer. When he eventually retired and took those trips that he and his wife had been planning for years, he later said, "Why on earth did I wait so long?" And that's the point. Money is a tool. It exists to help you live, and the living is the whole point.
So let's bring it all together. The spending smile changes how much you really need.
Your income structure changes how secure you actually feel.
Tax planning changes how much you keep.
Withdrawal order changes how long the money actually lasts.
And finally, clarity gives you permission to actually live the retirement you worked so hard for.
General advice can only take you so far. At some point, the maths has to be applied to your real life, your real numbers, and your real decisions. If you're approaching retirement and want to understand how all of this applies to your own situation, reach out to us at Family Wealth Custodians. You can schedule a complimentary exploration call with myself, Hugo, or any one of the team members. The link is in the description below. Please do us a favor, hit that subscribe button and share it with friends and family. I'm Hardy Swart.
I'm Hugo Kloppers.
This is Family Wealth. Keep investing into your future.